Today we'll be drawing an object that's the same size as your sketchbook. I chose a crock pot. It's an object that I use in my encaustic painting, where I melt wax. But you can use anything around the house that's the same size. We will be using the same materials we used last time: the number 2 pencil, the ebony pencil, a pink pearl eraser, and a smudge stick. Let's get started. I'm going to start with a number 2 pencil and make an ellipse for the top of my crock pot. I'm also going to make all the parts of the piece that are symmetrical first, placing my crock pot a little bit to the right so that there's room for the elements that are coming out to the left. Since the crock pot comes in a little bit at the bottom, I include that. Okay, there'll be some legs and create the curvature down here. I see more of this handle than I do of that, so I'm going to draw the small one, just peeking out. I look at the negative space around this handle to figure out where it goes. So its placement is based on this space, and make it come down as far as I see it. I look at this negative space and this negative space to see if I have it come out too far, which I think I did. Trim it down. Now, there's much more foreground on top of my pot. So I'm arcing both of them here and here, and I should be bisecting if I did a dotted line here. So I want to turn it to the side and see if the dotted line in the center is in fact bisecting. That ellipse here. It's easier to tell if you look at the two mirror edges side by side. Now there's also a rim. I see a little bit of that all the way around. It disappears here and comes in front over here. It makes the switch at the outer edge. Now, further back than you'd think it would be in the middle, but it's actually around here that we're going to find the top handle. It's evenly distributed left and right, so it should be on that vertical, but it comes from there, narrow, up to the top. And the horizon line is in the bottom third for me. That way I know it's not going to fall off the back of the table. If you make the horizon line too far forward, your object may look like it's about to tip over. Okay, so now I have some reflections and some gradations that I want to include. Put the reflections in first. There'll be a light there and along that rim. There'll be a light here and along this rim. Around here is where the dark light shifts on the pot. And around here, I didn't do the top, there's going to be a highlight and a highlight. There's even one down here. And now I'm going to get started on the background. In order for the shadows, oh, I should put the shadows here. One back here. So now for the ebony pencil. I'm going to go for the darkest darks first, making sure that I leave the areas of highlight. I'm making these curved lines to show the cross contour. Helps a little bit to understand that it's curved. Again, when we use the smudge stick, if you put a higher density of line, it's going to be darker, and a lower density of line, it'll be lighter. Now, certain things are shiny, like the feet and the handles, and so you have to be more careful to put the wider range of values on those objects. I'm going to go back in and pull out some of my highlights in the handle and make sure that the darks in the handle are dark enough. The overall range of value has to be darker, and periodically I squint to see where the darks are. And I realize this dark has to come all the way over to here. I'm going to be using my blending stump to smooth out certain things like the handle. Notice where I had less lines, it's a lighter gray. I left the white edge for the handle, and I can see the sculptural quality that way. Picking up the dark, moving it to here. And the last thing that you have to do is think about whether or not the overall darks are dark enough, and fill in some of your shadows so they just look like the absence of light, not like a positive, but just the absence of light. And explore how small amount of graphite you may want to put down. Of course, I would be filling in the dark on the inside of my crock pot because it's a clear glass lid, but I think you can see the idea, so take it from here.